Hello, and welcome to another edition of Daddy Time. Daddy Time. Are you excited for Daddy Time? Or are you a little fussy? Daddy Time? Fussy. Daddy Time? Fussy. Daddy Time or fussy? Or are you super talkative today? Are you super talkative today, huh? Are you super talkative today? Oh, you might be. Okay, it's March 28th, 2018 at approximately 7:30 a.m. You've woken up a little grumpy today, haven't you? Haven't you? Have you woken up a little grumpy? You want your ball? Oh, yes you do. Yes you do. Go ahead. Eat 'em up. Eat 'em up. Num num num. Num num num. Num 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 num. Num 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 num. Num num num. Num num num. Num 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 num. Num 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 num. Num 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 num. Num num num. Eat it up, buddy. Enjoy it. Yeah, so delicious. So delicious. So delicious. Yeah. Aren't you a cutie pie? Aren't you a little cutie pie? Yeah. You're a cutie pie. You are a cutie pie. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Okay. Here we go. This is the continuation of the Yellow Monster. You remember the Yellow Monster, right? The story about the cute little buck-toothed yellow monster with the yellow feathers and the duck feet who loved to swim in the water. And he met so many friends while swimming in the water, but then the evil men in black took him away and they planned to make lots of money on the little cute and adorable yellow monster. They would force people to pay thousands of dollars to swim with this new species, this yellow monster, instead of just having fun time with the yellow monster and doing it for free. They were going to make a fortune off the yellow monster. The yellow monster didn't appreciate that, and he had to find a way to get out. He was going to get away. He was going to do the things he loved without anybody telling him what to do, because that's how the yellow monster rolled. So, when the men in black got to the lake, they finally got to the lake, and they got back to the back side of the truck. Ooh, ooh, ooh. When they got to the truck, they opened up the truck where the yellow monster was kept hidden from the world. Here you go. Oh, you gotta poop? Do you have to poop? Do you have to do a poopies? And finally, when they opened the back of the truck, they opened the doors and saw that the little monster was no longer in the back. They searched everywhere. They searched behind the boxes, they searched on the floor, they searched on the ceilings, they searched on the walls, but the yellow monster was nowhere to be found. They couldn't explain it. The doors were locked from the outside. There were no windows. There was no possible way of escaping. They had no idea what had happened. They were big trouble from that fat man who was in charge. If they had to call the fat man and tell them what had happened, the fat man would not be happy. But you see, the men in black were not stupid. They knew that they were dealing with a species that they had never seen before. And so it was impossible for them to know everything about the little yellow monster, wasn't it? So then, they had to figure out how to find him again. And the one place that they knew the yellow monster would always go to was the water. So they decided to hide the truck and camp out in the trees right near the water where they knew at some point the yellow monster would come back. Because all the yellow monster wanted to do was make friends and swim with the humans and the animals and the mammals and the reptiles and have a jolly old good time. Yes, they would be back. And they would find the yellow monster again. But this time, they would have to secure him even better than just being in a little truck. Now, let's zoom back to an hour earlier from when the men in black found out that the yellow monster was gone. I mean, after all, what could have happened? How did the yellow monster do it? How did he manage to escape? How did he manage to escape? We're so happy that he escaped, but how did he do it? Well, just like the men in black figured, the yellow monster was indeed a monster. He was a species that they had never seen before. And with that, just like the way he could swim for miles and miles and miles and miles effortlessly, that was not the only thing he could do so well. After all, he had other special powers. And one of those special powers was transforming his body into whatever shape he wanted to, no matter how big or small. So it didn't take the yellow monster long to realize what he needed to do. What he needed to do was not that difficult at all. The little yellow monster, after thinking about what had to be done in order to escape, saw a little itty bitty tiny whiny teeny weeny minute itty bitty hole. There was a little hole in the floor. It wasn't even a quarter of an inch. But that hole was everything that the little yellow monster needed. The little yellow monster waddled like a duck over to that little hole, and he peeked through it with his one cyclops eye, and he noticed that below was the street. You could see the road that he walked on from Cleveland, Ohio, all the way into Michigan. So he knew that if he could get to that road, he could walk back to the lake. The problem was, if he went out before he got to the lake, well, he might never find the lake again. He doesn't have a map. He doesn't have GPS. He doesn't have Google Maps. What was he to do? So, he decided to wait just until the car stopped. Just until the doors opened. Because he figured when the doors stopped and the doors opened for the men to come get him, he assumed that that meant that they were back at the lake, where all he wanted to do was swim, 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 swim. Swim, 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 swim. Swim, 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 swim. So that's what he did. He waited and waited patiently. And through his patience, he realized he could do this. So as soon as the car stopped, and he heard the men get out of the car and head towards the back doors of the truck for them to get him, the little yellow monster transformed into a teeny tiny little inchworm-looking monster. And he slowly, ever so slowly, fidgeted through the little tiny hole. And when he fidgeted through the tiny little hole, he stayed on the outside of the truck, but still connected, just to make sure that they weren't stopped at some rest stop or gas station or fast food joint. He had to make sure he was still near the lake, so he stayed attached to the truck. He heard the men in black open the doors. He heard the men in black searching for him. He heard the men in black wondering what they would do. And he also heard the men in black's plan of how to get the yellow monster back. And that made all the difference. He knew they were going to play this sort of waiting game. They were going to find him again. And when he realized that, he knew their plan, and he was able to make his own plan. That was the beautiful thing. So now, the little yellow monster, who was now like a little tiny inchworm, he checked his surroundings, noticed that the lake was right there in front of him. He was back home again where he wanted to be. At least his newfound home that he loved so much. And he inched his way towards the water, did not transform back into his normal yellow monster form, and watched the big truck drive away with the men in black. And he knew he had to make a perfect plan in order to win this scenario, so he could swim with all the creatures and all the humans and all the animals for free. Because all the little yellow monster wanted in life was happiness. This concludes this chapter of the Yellow Monster. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like. Feel free to subscribe. And we'll be back tomorrow. Or who knows? Maybe today, huh? Maybe we'll be back later today. Who knows? We got a lot of daddy time.